And we are back with the BJ Factory. It's Jake and Brad, of course.
What's good?
And you have your tuna today, Penguin?
Squaw.
That was the Penguin lad. How you doing, Brad?
I'm doing good, man. We have these last, what was it, been 2 days, I think? These last 2 days have been very eventful, to say the least.
Did you do anything for the 4th?
Absolutely nothing. We made tacos, if that's something. Not the most patriotic thing to make in the world, but we just had...
Definitely not.
Yeah, in the house, we just had like an extra carne asada, like pre-made beef thing. So we were like, fuck it, let's just make
Pop
that.
off any fireworks?
Our neighbors popped off plenty for us.
But not you guys?
Unfortunately, no.
No Twizzlers or Whisker Biscuits
Whisker
or Zing
Biscuits.
Bongs or Black Cats?
Dude, Black Cats are my shit. But nah, me and Brad had like plans. We were like, let's watch a patriotic movie.
Yeah, we were gonna watch like a what was it, a Peterberg movie with Mark Wahlberg,
Yeah,
or something
like
that.
Ford versus
Lone
Ferrari, which I
Survivor.
can't recommend more.
Yeah, Ford versus Ferrari, something patriotic.
Yeah, but then we ate the tacos. I think we drank a little bit and then fucking passed out.
all three
for
of us
most
were
the day.
done.
I low-key expected you guys to say we got the tacos and we just ended up watching Nacho Libre.
What could be more patriotic?
Yeah.
No, but that was pretty much the extent of our 4th of July. But eventful in the fact that we have a lot of upcoming fights to be excited about.
Ooh,
Finally.
we had a bombshell the other
Yes.
day, a big one. Let's get to that in a second.
Okay.
Let's start at the low card. Where did my iPad go?
No, fuck the low card. Just so from the bottom up, we had the Paige Van Zant fight first. So, in case anybody is missing anything, we're going to be talking about UFC 251, which is happening this Saturday,
July 11th.
July 11th, on Fight Island. So,
First Fight Island fight.
with the pandemic going on, Dana White has gone out and decided to buy a fucking island,
It's in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
It is not a part of their 5-year fight deal that they have with Abu Dhabi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's
yeah, this is
interesting.
a
I didn't
whole
know.
separate thing.
Cool. But anyway, so I don't even. Is it really like an island?
It is an island. I guess I would call it a peninsula. Yeah.
So it's Florida?
Yeah, it's kind of like
It's
Florida,
Florida.
Michigan. Like, it's a peninsula.
Okay. Fair enough.
But it's beachy, and they have a training.
Did you see what how they flew all the fighters in on the embeddeds?
I know
Like
Jorge
first
did
class?
private.
Yeah, I think Jorge was private. Yeah.
Kamaru was first class on a charter. But did you hear what they did for Peter Yan?
No.
I guess the airport he was at, because he's kind of in like a more, I guess you would say, secluded part of Russia.
Okay.
I guess the only airport around him like shut down.
Damn.
Yeah, no flights in or out. So he was screwed for a second, but then I guess the UFC somehow got in contact with like an Arabian like embassy, and they had a cargo plane and then converted that cargo plane into a passenger plane just for Peter Yan and his team.
Badass as fuck. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Only the UFC.
Yeah, only they just steamroll
and these
shit.
fighters want to get paid more. How's Dana gonna do this
I
shit?
know. That's what I'm saying. How's
Who's
Fight
gonna pay
Island
for
gonna
the
happen?
island?
Yeah. But do you know what bums me out about Fight Island is they have a cage on the beach, but that's not where they're gonna fight.
I saw what they're making, which is like kind of a semi-dome looking kind of thing, the light structure at least, and where there's gonna be nothing behind them from what it looks like, which would be kind of cool,
Right.
like. And then I think the other side is an open, because I'm going all over the place. So if I'm not mistaken, the same where they held the, can you hear that shit?
You can. Yeah. Okay.
But where they did the last fight with Poirier, Khabib,
Yeah.
they're basically restructuring that to be a smaller, like semi-dome kind of thing.
Okay.
Which that was outside, if not mistaken.
Something that is good is they're going back to the normal size cage. It's not the small one.
Oh, they
It's
are.
not like the Apex, yeah. So it's going to be
Oh,
normal
yeah, yeah,
size.
the
So
Apex,
that
yeah.
so that's not going to be like a
Interesting.
discussion anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of cool though. Like
Yeah.
the smaller cage.
But I didn't realize because the way they said it, they're like, oh, there's only 2 feet on each side missing. But then I read that like that literally takes away like 40% of the cage space.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
I
was
saw
like,
a visual of it
man.
from like top down. And it looked nuts.
Especially if you're like, imagine if you're like, let's just say my height and above. That's so small.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 25 feet. But
And
no.
for the little guy, like that's great.
Oh,
Like,
it's
I can
great.
get your back up against
Yeah.
the cage even faster.
And
Like,
for
kinda-
people who like to bang, it's great.
Yeah.
Because you can't get away from somebody.
Well, all the fights that we've had in the Apex prove that shit.
Yeah,
Like,
Cody
people have been
Garbrandt,
fucking
Sean
throwing
O'Malley.
down in there.
Yeah, popping Shane Burgos and Josh Emmett.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was watching the Embeddeds, and they were flying. I think it was like Paige Van
How many
Zandt.
are out right now? 2, 3?
Probably the second one's come out today.
Okay.
By the way, the Embeddeds is the best thing that UFC has
I
done
love the embeddeds and I love the
for
countdown.
the fans. Like, yeah, I love the countdown, which is basically it's embedded.
It's like
but
the ultra
a longer,
embedded.
yeah, a longer version. But embedded is the best thing that has happened for like the UFC fan when it comes to like content, for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love the embeddeds. You get to like really see what the fighters are about, and a lot of the times they're just chilling in the embeddeds, and I love that.
But I love the fact that also it's one a day, and like they're just putting it out on YouTube. You know what I mean? They're like 10 minutes. Where like back in the day, you remember like the Showtime or like the HBO 24/7s before the boxing fights or before the Winter Classics.
Oh yeah,
they had that shit
the
too.
Winter
That
Classics.
was banging.
Dude,
That
my
was
dad
good shit.
went to a Winter Classic. I'm pissed.
Dude,
Winter
my
Classic is an
parents tried.
outdoor hockey game. If you guys,
yeah, usually held
know.
at a baseball stadium or a football stadium.
yeah, I think
either
the
one.
Red Wings have been in 3 of them.
Caps have been in 2.
Yeah, they always have cool like retro teams in there.
They always have like the they'll put on the retro the throwback jerseys and whatnot, which is really cool.
I think the last time the Wings were in it, they were playing the Maple Leafs, so it was like a real good classic
this-
outdoor game.
I think it was the Canadians played the Bruins was the last one I watched.
Mm-hmm.
That was a while ago. It was a good game.
Yeah,
I remember the weather being a problem.
I think the Penguins played. Who did the Penguins?
Anyway, fuck
play?
hockey.
Yeah,
We're not talking
yeah.
about hockey. So, back to the fights.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to be starting out with Paige Van Zandt versus
Rebus. What's her first name?
Amanda, I think.
Yeah, Amanda
I think
Rebus.
it's
Yeah,
Amanda Ribas. I've never seen her fight.
I can't. I'm sure I have, but I cannot recall her.
So, yeah, I don't know anything.
I think this is funny because I literally said I know nothing about Amanda Rebus, but I think she's gonna smash Paige Van
Yeah.
Zandt.
I think Paige is getting smashed regardless.
Yeah, I think anybody she faces, she's gonna get smashed.
Yeah. I don't even recognize her. Well, she's 9-1. So,
Paige is 8-4. She's ranked number. Rebus is 14 and.
did you hear Paige complaining the other day
About what?
About pay for the UFC?
Paige, you suck. Dude, you're bad.
She was like, I got paid like so much more for Dancing with the Stars. Like, go back on Dancing
Go.
with the Stars.
That's
then,
what you should have
bitch.
been doing, dude. You're bad at fighting. I just don't understand people who know they'll never touch a title who like fight. Like, what is money?
I don't. Yeah, like
your
especially
point.
Paige Van Zandt's like her stance because like she obviously can be making so much more money
Tons of
through
money.
social media, through influencing and whatnot.
And
like,
her,
why? Like, So I get like if you're gonna do like if you're gonna for pride reasons, you get back into fighting, but don't complain about the money and shit when you know damn well you're doing this for because you want to.
yeah, dude, and your husband sucks. Like,
Wasn't he a Bellator guy?
Bellator, and I think he's like actually like his thing is jujitsu, I think. But like
Gotcha.
he
I
does
don't
fight.
really know who he is.
Yeah, but what's your prediction?
Paige is probably gonna get rocked.
I'm gonna say Rebus.
What's her last fights have been this Rebus lady?
Grab that.
Pulling it up. Damn it.
Dan, can you grab my iPad for me, and I can give you your phone back?
Okay, here we go. Rebus. She
Yeah.
had a decision win against
Thank you.
Marcos, whoever that is. She's 10-9 her last fight. She lost against Mackenzie Dern, the Mack truck Mackenzie
Okay,
Dern.
well, Mackenzie Dern's no joke. I mean,
Yeah, dude. Mackenzie Dern's an absolute unit.
she's lost her. No, she won her last fight. Actually, I think.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, Mackenzie Dern's accent. Can we talk about that for a second? You've seen that, right, Danny? I showed you that before.
251.
Okay, so no. Excuse me. I take back what I said about my previous prediction. But looking at this, I'm going to predict a boring ass fucking fight.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. I look at the first round being boring, and then I think Amanda's going to put it on Paige in the second, and I think she's going to submit her. I think she's going to submit Paige in the second by like an arm bar.
The only thing I can predict, honestly, is a boring fight.
Yeah,
That's
Paige,
just
you
what
suck.
I'm feeling.
Paige, I mean, I just wish you would just do the thing that you seem to like better.
Model?
Which is model. Yeah.
I mean,
but-
she's great at it.
But I mean, they put her there to like open the card for some star value, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. But the second fight of the night's gonna be a banger, I think.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on Rose, man?
I think Rose is the best strawweight in the world, but one of the weakest mentally.
Okay. We're on the same page.
Yeah, because I think she could pop anybody. Because she popped Joanna bad twice.
Yeah.
And Joanna went 5 rounds in an amazing fight with Wei Li.
Yeah.
And that makes me think Rose can bop Wei Li. And
I think Rose takes Wei Li.
And
so much faster.
Jessica Andrade, people forget, Rose was winning that fight bad.
Yeah.
Rose was piecing her the fuck up. Yeah.
She was so much faster than her competitor.
So much faster and hitting accurate. But then Andrade did the old cradle scoop and drop on her and knocked her out
so this
cold.
may sound like kind of rough, but a part of me thinks that Rose wasn't knocked out cold. Like,
you think she faked it?
She hit the ground and she just decided not to fight back. Yeah, I think she got she got fucking hurt.
You think that even though she was winning the fight so
Yeah,
bad?
because if you go back and you listen to her interviews that they've been putting out leading up to this fight, and she talks about how mentally unprepared and like not there she was. Like she was just fighting out of like because I have to. She was saying,
but she was just so much better. That's nuts to hear her say that.
Yeah, dude, it's I don't know, man. It's just frustrating.
It is frustrating, dude. I think she's been working a lot with Trevor Whitman and Justin Gaethje, though.
They've been working together before she became a champion.
Yeah, but like Pat Barry, her husband, was like her head coach for most of her career.
I mean,
and I think
homeboy's still in the picture.
Yeah, he's still in the picture, but Trevor Whitman has definitely taken over a lot more.
Trevor Whitman's definitely, from like what everybody says, he's the fucking man.
Yeah,
and Justin Gaethje's proof of that right now.
Yeah, but I think. I mean,
what's your prediction?
I'm gonna say it's a 3-round fight, huh? I'm going to say Rose unanimous decision. I think she's going to piece Andrade up, and I don't think Andrade is going to get that, like, her hands on her again.
I have a tough time disagreeing with you on that one. Yeah. I think Rose is going to go out there, play, and not be aggressive enough to knock her out, but just outskill her.
Yep, exactly.
Outskill her to unanimous.
And Rose is Rose is better than her.
100%.
Even though she got beat so bad, Rose is way better than her.
Do y'all think it'll be as big of a landslide unanimous as the previous fight? Do you think Jessica can do anything to like weaken the gap?
I think Rose is going to beat her badly.
I think in like all title fights that happen that we forget about, like the Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, Rose is going to like absolutely outpoint or destroy her. Like Andrade will have her little flashy moments like, oh, good punch there.
Like, ooh, uppercut.
Yeah, but that's it.
Like Joe Rogan will really play
they'll
one punch hard. Oh, there.
She got clipped. Yeah. She got clipped.
You cannot relax when you're fighting Andrade.
Doug Rose.
Yeah, literally, dude. But yeah, Rose, unanimous decision. Then Rose will fight Wei Li, and I think she'll beat Wei Li split decision.
I think she knocks out Wei Li.
Dang, that's a crazy prediction.
I think that...
Dude, she might be weakened from that Joanna fight.
I think that...
Oh, I mean, it definitely did for both of them.
You also have to think about it from a mental standpoint. Rose is going in there defending our country's honor against, China. I mean, with Corona happening, this is big. This is big. This is like Rocky 3.
Oh, my goodness. Did you see the video of that tech dude at that restaurant?
Where?
There's this video of this tech dude. He's from Britain. He has a heavy British accent.
Dude?
He's like the CEO of a Silicon Valley
Okay.
company. He's probably like in his late 30s, early 40s. Good-looking white dude. And he's just sitting alone at a restaurant. And the video starts with like this. I think they were Asian. This Asian couple going, "Say it again." And he's sitting at a table alone on this balcony of this nice restaurant. And at first you can tell he's like clamming up a little bit and doesn't want to talk. And then he starts flipping the camera off. And then he just starts saying so much like racist things about Asians.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And then like the waiter was like a boss. Is like this white woman. She comes over and pretty much like just power moves him out of the restaurant. Just like, get out of here. And he leaves. But like now all of his information is all over the internet.
Yeah, he's fucked.
And it blew my mind. I'm like, bro, you're the only one in this restaurant with an accent. And you're telling these Asian people to get out of America.
Ironic.
Okay, this is off topic, but yeah, I was just wondering if you guys saw that.
I haven't seen that one now. Where'd you see it?
TMZ.
Oh, TMZ.
It literally happened like last night.
Brad, are you really comparing Rocky to Rose in your previous statement?
How long have you been holding on to that?
I think I heard that.
He did not just compare Rose to my man.
Sorry. That's much. No, okay, excuse me. That's much more of a Gaethje Khabib situation.
Oh, speaking of
Rocky
Khabib, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
to
Abdullah
Khabib's grandpa, father. He seemed like a real cool dude. I saw videos of him wrestling around with like Daniel Cormier's like youth wrestlers and.
Dude, the only thing I can say is that, like, not to be stereotypical, but they do not come from like a great area.
No.
When it comes to like terrible people in like Chechnya.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it seems like that guy fucking kept all those like young men like close to him.
Where
to the community.
is Dagestan
It's
in relation
the
to
border
Chechnya?
of Chechnya in Russia.
Okay. Wow.
And like and Chechnya's like fucked up.
Yeah, their leader's like crazy.
Yeah, like terrorist shit.
Dad was basically Colin Farrell and the Gentleman, like with all the boys.
Exactly. But like, yeah, it seemed that like everyone in their town and their village, like, hopefully from what it seemed like, didn't get into any of that trouble that the Chechens did, and like just revolved their life around MMA, which is really cool. So,
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Mr. Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that sucks for Khabib.
It really does.
Told you, man. Let's see if he fights. I hope he does, but if he doesn't, you can't blame him.
I really think he's going to, but I think it's one fight, 2 fights, and that's done.
Yeah, I think if you were to beat Justin, he's done. In September, if he keeps that fight.
Yeah, I could see it. The only thing would be the Tony Ferguson fight, but that's obviously lost stock because of how he lost to Justin.
Ferguson needs a big win.
Yeah, but what happens if like Ferguson goes out there and like submits Poirier in first round or something?
It'd have to be
Poirier looked good against Hooker.
Dude, but submitting Poirier in the first round, like, just hypothetical, I think that's something to give him Khabib if Khabib were to win against Justin, for sure.
You think that would earn
That's
Tony?
yeah, I think that's
I
reason
definitely
enough.
do too. That's definitely enough.
Especially after the fight against Dan Hooker.
Yeah, no. If he didn't beat Dan Hooker, he'd be way down, but he did. So
Dude, Poirier just looks so heavy when he fights.
he does, dude. You know,
Right?
the first fight I ever realized that was him and Holloway 2 for the interim lightweight.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he looks heavy, dude. He looks just like
Dude,
a
those
brick.
punches like we were talking about last time, like, it's just all arm.
All arm, just stiff arm.
Just fucking stiff.
blocks with his elbows.
Yeah.
Well, I was watching an
Them shits are
interview.
fucking higher than his head.
I was watching an interview with Masvidal, and he was saying that Poirier, out of everybody in American Top Team, knocks people out during sparring more than like anybody.
I watched an old Jorge video where they were just at American Top Team talking about the team and whatnot, and Jorge was just giving him praise, like, Dustin's a fucking dog.
Yeah,
Like,
he is.
They seem to be like pretty good friends.
Yeah, I think
buddies.
everyone is tight over there. That's why the Colby stuff like really messed with people.
Something tells me that him and Masvidal are cool. Like, they might not talk, and then like, in passing, they just give each other kind of a wink. Something feels like that to me.
I definitely had that feeling before, but when he started talking shit about specifically Joanna and Amanda Nunes, and like then Jorge would talk about that in interviews, it just really seemed different. Like he's all like, you're calling out like women and stuff, and just like, I don't know. I definitely go back and forth of thinking that, but like, I don't know. And the fact that Colby left American Top Team, that makes me think they're not cool.
Yeah, well, I would love to see them two fight.
Oh my God, I would like to see that fight way more than the main event coming up.
So let's get back on
the
to
pressers
where were we
for
at?
that? We're at what was your prediction for the Rose?
Same thing as you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't argue that one.
So moving in is our first title fight of the night, one of 3. We have Piotr. We got Peter Yan.
Peter Yan.
And Jose Waldo
Jr.
for the bantamweight strap. This is honestly, I'm not like, for some reason, I'm not that hype about this fight. But then when it happens, I think I'm gonna be like at the edge of my seat.
I can tell you what I want, and I would want Jose to win.
Oh, definitely.
But I feel like he's gonna get fucked up.
I do not like Peter Yan, anything about him. So I might be. I don't think he deserves a title shot either. So
You don't think he deserves a title shot?
His biggest win is Uriah Faber. Come on, Uriah Faber when he's 42.
Can you bring? I know that was his last fight. Can you bring up his record, Danny?
I got
it. You got it. Yeah,
I got it.
I just watched a thing on him. That's the only reason why I asked.
I think Jose Waldo's gonna piece him up bad.
I would like to see it.
Just
Don't get me
how
wrong,
I saw Jose, I think Marlon Moraes is way better than Peter Yan. So the way I saw Jose beat him, I was just like, whoa. Okay. So here is his here's his UFC record. It's only like 5 fights.
He was a champion in Russia, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a champion.
Yes, he was the ACB bantamweight champion in Russia. So first fight in the UFC was against a guy named Todoro Ishihara. Ever hear of him?
Okay, let's get to the point here, Jake. Let's ring him off.
Then Jinsu Sun.
Oh yeah, I love him.
Yeah. Then Douglas Silva DeAndre.
Yeah, that's my dude.
This is his now John Dotson. That's his first name. Then Jimmy Rivera. Then Uriah. You do not deserve a title shot over Aljamain. You don't.
I think he does because, in my opinion, Aljo's cool. Like, you've been floating up there for a while.
So we just established that Peter Yan's beat absolutely nobody. So let's look at Aljamain.
False. You beat Uriah Faber, Jimmy Rivera.
Uriah
John
Faber
Dodson.
was literally 42 and sat out for 4 years before they fought.
Yeah, and he knocked out some kid right before then.
What? Yeah,
Ricky Simone.
Yeah, and where's Ricky Simone at?
He's fucking tied up because the bantamweight division's got so many killers up there.
So let's read off Aljo's last 5. Let's see which one's better. Brett Johns, don't know who the fuck that is. Cody Stamen, way better name. Jimmy Rivera, same dude Peter Yan beat. Pedro Munoz, who just knocked out Cody Garbrandt.
How did he beat Jimmy?
Jimmy, unanimous decision.
Okay.
And just choked out Corey Sandhagen in the first round like it was nothing. Way better. Way better. Dude, I would say give the title shot to Marlon again before Peter Yan.
No.
Let's look at Marlon's last 5. Dude, I did state I'm very biased because I just don't like Peter Yan. But great.
I think Peter Yan's an absolute savage.
And look at Marlon's last. Beat John Dodson, then beat Aljo, then beat Jimmy Rivera, then beat Sun Sao. Then his only loss was to Henry for the title, then beat Aldo. And you're telling me that guy's less deserving?
Yes.
You're literally telling me 2 + 2 is 6 here. There's literally nothing about Peter Yan that has anything on these two.
Because, Jake,
He's beat the same people that he's beat. It just doesn't make sense.
Jake, you're acting like some...
And Peter Yan's not a draw.
Jake. You're acting like some right-wing nut job looking... wait, let me finish. You're acting like some right-wing nut job bringing up facts.
Oh.
You need to take that shit out of the equation because it doesn't sell.
Oh my god, dude. But I really that one got me. I really do think Jose Waldo's gonna beat his ass.
I want Waldo to win, but I think Peter Yan's gonna absolutely run through him.
3. No, it's 5. It's a title fight.
5. Okay, so what do you have as the round prediction? Is it a decision, knockout? Sorry.
I'll say Jose Waldo split decision.
Interesting. I'm going to go with a knockout in the 3rd from Peter Yan. TKO.
Okay. TKO.
Similar to Max Holloway. 2.
Dang. That's another thing. I think... Okay, no, I'll just go off on a tangent about the man we're about to talk about.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
I'm going Waldo. Brad's going to go with Yan, so that'll be good to go. Like, we'll see who's right about that one. Moving on. Dude, I think this is going to be fight of the night. Max Holloway is going to try to get his strap back against Alexander Volkanovski in the co-main event. Ooh, man, there's a lot of pressure on Max.
There's a lot to unpack with this as well, considering Max's most recent interviews, which have not been very optimistic for his fans.
I disagree only because it wasn't his interview. It was a Daniel Cormier interview where Daniel said Max is frying all of us. And Max is training just normal. And he said that because he said he FaceTimed Max and he was in a room rolling with like 12 dudes. And he said that when he called Max and he said he was training on Zoom that he heard a bunch of chuckling in the background.
I hope so.
I know
if so. Fucking got
Max Holloway.
If so, trolled the fuck out of me.
You really think the greatest featherweight of all time, a professional fighter who does this all the time, is just going to be like, the guy who beat me, I'm not going to train? He's trolling, dude.
No, I think that he's training, but I think he's doing it in a very Max Holloway way.
Nah, I think he's going the hardest he's ever in his life, and that's why he's giving off this perception.
Okay. I hope so, man, because
that's why he hasn't cut his hair, and I think he's going hard.
From what I see, all he does is play Warzone.
Yeah, but like you can say all Alexander Volkanovski does is play with his kids, because that's like all I see on his like shit. But like, you could say all Sean O'Malley does is game.
I think that Max doesn't win this fight.
I think he does.
Once again, I want him to.
I think he does. I think he knocks out Volkanovski. And
wow.
I say that because Max Holloway was beating the fuck out of Volkanovski in the 4th and 5th round. I know that
I don't remember the fight well enough.
Volkanovski clearly, in my opinion, won the first 3 rounds solely on how many leg kicks he landed. And then Max started putting it on him in the 4th and the 5th. And in the last 2 minutes of the 5th, Volkanovski was running away.
I don't ever remember Max hurting him.
There was never like a big shot where it's like, oh, Volkanovski, this fight could end. But there was definitely a point where Volkanovski was getting peppered in the 5th and was all like, I need to get the fuck out of here and put his wheels on.
Yeah.
So I just think Max is better than Volkanovski just because of experience and stuff, and I think he's going to come correct with the like changes, just like he did in the 4th and the 5th. But I easily could see Alexander Volkanovski winning in an alternate
I see the fight going pretty much how the first one went.
I just can't agree only just because of how good Max is. I just think there's just going to be changes made, just like Conor did with Nate. I just think there's just like I think there is a lot more for Volkanovski to figure out about Max, because Max just has a lot more than Volkanovski does in like his tools.
Something just tells me that Volkanovski is going to go into this fight with a chip on his shoulder.
I disagree. I think he's underrating Max so hard, and I think he was on your wavelength where he doesn't think Max is taking it seriously in training.
The way I see Volkanovski like being ready to have like a hard defense against Max because nobody sees him as the fucking champ.
Do you want a hot take?
He hit me.
I think City Street Boxing is the most overrated team right now.
I don't even know who's on.
Dan Hooker, Alexander Volkanovski, Adesanya.
Are they all? I thought fucking Volkanovski came over to Hooker and Adesanya to help them. I didn't think they were in the same gym.
No, they're in the same gym.
Oh, no shit.
Eugene Behrman is their coach. I think they're super overrated.
I mean, they got a lot of hype, but
They got a lot of hype, and I think, think about it.
well, you can't.
Israel is not hype. But Dan Hooker.
They have two champs in their camp, so you can't say.
Yeah, but honestly, there's some people who even though I don't think that, there's some people who think Max won the first fight. The only real that is the solid champ is that's the dude, that dude's probably not gonna lose to a lot of people. A lot of people are picking Max. I just think it's going to be a fight.
Dude.
It's going to be a fight.
Just real quick, I just want to go off on a little tangent when you're like, you don't see anybody beating Izzy for what? I see Paulo Costa knocking him out.
I think Paulo could and has the skill set
I think in the first 2 rounds.
I think Paulo is falling into a Jose Aldo Conor McGregor thing a little bit. I think he hates Israel Adesanya, and I think he's gonna kind of do a little come in Jose Waldo, and Izzy's the type of dude to catch you in a situation like that.
Yeah, I just don't think the way I see that fight in my head is just Izzy popping him with counter shots all within the first, but Paulo absolutely eating the fuck out of them and just burying him like how it looked with Uriah Hall in the second round.
Yeah, but I think that I think Izzy has the power to knock Paulo out. I guess I don't like when people gauge someone's ability of getting knocked out just because they fought Romero. I think that bothers the fuck out of me. Just because Romero didn't knock that dude out, they're not gonna get knocked out. No. I hate when people have that weird.
Robert Whittaker's the
he's knocked out Robert Whittaker twice in that fight.
Yeah.
He knocked him out at the end of the first and knocked him out in the second. And
knocked him down.
You want to look how stiff he was, bro? He knocked him out in that.
Knockout, it doesn't happen until I see this.
No, but he was saved by the bell.
So? That's not a knockout.
Because he hit him after the knockout.
It's not a knockout.
Oh, God.
It's not a knockout.
No, okay. I guess you're right. Why? What?
Fuck. Yeah, whatever. Just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going. You are right because on my logic that means Anderson Silva knocked out Michael Bisping, and Michael Bisping didn't win that fight. So I do have to give you to that one.
True, almost the same thing.
I love you, Michael. Oh, TJ was knocked out
fuck.
bad in that first fight.
So I don't want to. I don't want to go down this TJ hole without talking about the respect for Michael Bisping.
Oh, I love Michael Bisping.
When it comes to my favorite OG fighters, Michael Bisping, Chael Sonnen.
I was about to ask you, dude. I was thinking because Dana had a pretty hard time answering this. What would be your Mount Rushmore?
Oh yeah, this
of
is
MMA. Four people. That's it.
For me, it would be a lot different because I didn't get into UFC until after high school. So even Anderson Silva, I didn't watch much live.
But are you basing your Rushmore off the history of the sport, or are you just gonna base it off of what you love?
Mine would be bias, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's
okay. So let's make a list of when it comes to influence within the sport. You know what I mean?
Influence within the sport. Okay.
Or Mount Rushmore
Okay. Mount Rushmore.
for America or for the world,
Okay.
not for just you.
Okay, for you.
Who's your 4?
Not for just me.
Not for just you. This is representing.
Hoist Gracie.
Okay. Yep.
Hoist Gracie for sure.
Yep.
GSP.
Yes.
Anderson Silva.
This is pretty much mine. Yeah. Do it. You know you want to say it.
I gotta say Connor.
Yep, that's mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
The only one I would argue.
But then you have to like remember of names you're leaving off. Chuck Liddell, Matt Hughes, John Jones. Like it's tough.
The only one that I agree that is tough, but then you look at the names of who are on
Demetrius Johnson.
there. But you look at the names who are on there.
Yeah.
Hoist Gracie. There is no UFC without Hoist
Yeah.
Gracie, right? Anderson Silva. There was the second wave of fandom came in because of Anderson Silva, where he made Kung Fu
dude,
real.
When I was a kid, when we were kids,
Yeah, I remember watching
I
highlight
literally
videos of it.
thought, like, I think it was just like a foregone conclusion that he was like a Super Saiyan. Like, other people were not like him.
I assume that people in Brazil were all Spider-Men like that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's all I knew about Brazil was that Anderson Silva
Yeah,
came
Anderson
from there.
Silva's from Brazil.
So they all must be dangerous with fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But so I have you. So you have those two guys,
Then
right?
GSP.
Then you have GSP when GSP is the ultimate champion.
He brought Canada in.
Yeah, he's the ultimate champion because not only the record, but the way he carried himself off, out of the octagon, an all-around, great person. And then you have, in my opinion, the man who put the UFC in the mainstream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, John Kavanaugh said, he tweeted, he's all like, they'll never tell you this, but I have UFC fighters all the time pull me aside and say, listen, I hate your boy, but all of us should be giving him 5% because it would not be the same without him.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, probably one of the only person I would argue, that's God telling me don't say it. No. The only person I would argue is Ronda. Now, you could tell me that Amanda Nunes is the better fighter, but without Ronda, there is no women's MMA.
Yes, you're so right, but I hate Ronda so much.
I love Ronda.
Oh,
Love
you're
me
right,
some
though.
Ronda.
You're right.
It's simple fact.
And I hate Ronda. And I just heard she's like a bad person.
But that would be my fifth.
Okay, what about your Rushmore just for you?
For me, I wouldn't put Hoist on there because I, didn't watch it, whatever.
You don't have to
You know
tell
what I
me
mean.
why like those guys aren't on them. Just
I would have Anderson Silva.
okay.
I'd have Conor McGregor.
Okay.
Damn. I'd have to fucking think about this one because, I didn't watch Chuck a lot growing up. I didn't watch
Really?
GSP.
Really, Chuck, man, you missed some Chuck.
Yeah. I didn't really watch GSP that much. I remember seeing a couple and he was wrestling the whole time. I was like, fuck this is boring.
I think I might know mine. It is tough. I think for me it would be.
Oh, wait, no, I got mine. What am I talking about? Sorry. Conor McGregor, Anderson Silva, Michael Bisping, and the greatest of all time, Chael Sonnen.
Chael. The American gangster. For me, it'd probably be Conor McGregor,
Undisputed.
Uriah Faber. See, and then those last two is where it gets tricky for me because he's just
Uriah, that's a good one.
Dude, no little dudes without Uriah.
Yep.
This next one's
Agreed.
just so tricky for me. Man. I'll say Anderson. Yeah. I'll say Anderson and I'll say Chuck. 'Cause Chuck was like the first dude that would like knock people out stiff. that
I
saw.
remember growing up and
Like-
the hype around Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
I do vividly remember that about watching him on ESPN and Sports Center. Him
Uh,
and Tito.
Dana White's was something stupid. It was
remember
like
Dana's.
it was like Hoist, Amanda, Tito Ortiz. It was like something weird. I don't know. Tito
Now,
definitely
if I'm
nowhere
being real,
near
if I
that
had
list.
one slab of rock to commemorate the UFC with, what I'm going to put on there, is Dana White's big ass head.
Oh yeah,
Without Dana, there's nothing.
I love Dana. Yeah. If we're talking about like a real monument, it would be Dana.
Dana.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely
Dana deserves a statue in Vegas.
Yeah, we are not Dana haters over here.
I am in no way.
Oh, okay. I guess that's not as bad as
So
I
yeah,
thought.
like how none of us had Jones. Didn't even cross my mind to put him in.
Yeah, it's just because
because
he's
fuck,
such
he's a
an
cheat.
idiot, and yeah, he got
So
caught.
was Anderson Silva, but I like Anderson better.
Yeah, Anderson Silva is actually probably a bigger cheat than John
Probably,
is.
but
Yeah.
I met Anderson Silva and he was super nice to me. So fuck you, John.
I
until
love
I meet
Michael
you.
Bisping though. Should we get to the
Bisping's
main?
the best.
Yeah. What's your official prediction for Max and Volkanovski?
What did I say? Same as the last fight.
Okay.
Decision, Volkanovski.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. I originally said I thought Max was gonna knock him out, but I'm gonna say decision Max.
I see it being a long fight for sure.
Yeah, I think they're gonna pop each other. And another reason I don't think Volkanovski can finish Max is because even when Max was busted up against Poirier couldn't do it. But the main event, sudden change, man. Gilbert Burns, bad luck,
Christ.
buddy. Bad luck. You didn't deserve the title fight in the first place.
True that. Okay, so one. I wonder how much fucking money Jorge's getting for this shit,
A lot.
right? So, do we know his purse for the last fight?
Yes, we do. It was, I think it was like 500,000 or something like that.
I was about to say, he probably asked for $1 million
Oh yeah, he probably asked for
for
a
this
mil,
fight.
and he said he got a little less than he asked, but he was happy with it. So they probably threw him like maybe like 8,
I think they probably gave him like 900,000.
just 100,000 less than a mil.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he told. I think he went into this when they're like, "All right, now let's talk." Or Burns is out. He's like, "I don't want $1 million."
By the way, Gilbert Burns is out because he tested positive for COVID at the airport to go to Abu Dhabi. That's how unfortunate that was for him.
Now, another thing we need to keep in mind is these fighters still have to pass multiple tests throughout the week.
They've passed the first 2 so far.
Yeah,
they
they
have,
need 3, right?
They have 3 more.
Yeah, that's.
They have 1 right before weigh-ins, I believe. 1 right before the cage, and 1 right after the cage.
Oh wow,
So technically, they only have to fight past 2 for the fight to happen.
gotcha. Well, so yeah, that's just something to keep in mind without trying to get hopes up.
Yeah, but I think they're pretty secluded. Jorge Masvidal took a private jet to Abu Dhabi, so he's literally secluded. And Kamaru, I just don't see him getting COVID. I mean, I know like Gilbert.
hope not.
Yeah, I hope
Shit.
not. It's just
Hope
like
none of them do.
they're all taking the precautionary measures.
The UFC seems to be doing as much as they fucking can.
But this is going to be a completely different fight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on Kamaru and none on Jorge.
Yeah. Jorge has nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Week's
He's taking this
notice?
fight on not even a week, like what, 6 days?
Yeah, something like that.
Because
About 6 days. He probably
6 days.
He was probably
notice.
7 days out when he got the offer, and after
And
negotiation, yeah, probably 6 days till they came.
6 days. He has to travel in that time. Nothing to lose. He
I
has
don't
like.
think he's been training. He's been working out, but like I don't think he's been like fight camp training.
I also heard that. I watched a lot of Ariel and a lot of this morning. Kamaru thinks he has been working out, and other people think he has been preparing specifically for Kamaru. But definitely he hasn't been in camp, grinding like. But that's good for him in a way. If he loses, you can always say that.
I kind of feel like momentum's on his side.
I do too, dude. I think
Kamaru makes it out of the first 2 rounds. It's his.
definitely. I think
it's his for the taking.
Kamaru has pressure, dude. Because think about it. He was preparing.
Can't forget how good Kamaru is.
He was preparing for a 6th degree like Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, and now he's with like a agile like stand-up ninja
I was
type
watching.
of dude.
Danny and I were watching the Colby Usman fight, and literally like the top comment, thousands of likes, is fucking. Either these boys do this shit with Jorge, they're getting knocked out.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what Big John McCarthy
Now, but
was
I also
saying.
think that Usman is both Colby and Usman are smart enough to know that.
Yes.
And they will go for that takedown within the first round.
But you
Can they get
also have to remember that Jorge's like takedown defense is like 78%. Something crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and people have a real hard time holding him down. Damian Maia couldn't hold him down.
I remember Damian Maia being on top of him for a
No,
while.
Damian Maia, I rewatched the fight 2 days ago. He took him down a bunch, never held him down for more than like 25 seconds.
Remember Jorge had that one flare. He left-handed him up against the cage for a few. That fight was boring. Remember that shit?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they lost. But yeah, he didn't hold him down. And Kamaru has wrestling, but so does Jorge. Kamaru does not have jiu-jitsu.
No.
And Jorge is better at stand-up.
I think it's going to come down to cardio.
It's definitely going to come down to cardio, which I don't think cardio is an issue for either of these dudes. That's another reason why this is going to be such a good fight. Because Jorge grinds at American Top Team, and Kamaru's proven it time and time again.
If at any point Jorge gets tired, then the fight goes to Kamaru.
Definitely, but what happens if Kamaru gets tired? Like, no one thought Kane could ever get tired, and he got gassed in that one fight when he went to Mexico.
I wanted to come up with an excuse for the
What happens if Jorge literally just likes Ben Askren's it, runs and flying knees?
Then they have to give him Colby.
Oh no! That's another thing. They were saying if Kamaru wins, Gilbert is going to get the title shot. But if Masvidal wins, they're saying Colby's going to get the shot.
Once again, why Gilbert's up there?
It's because he beat a number one contender and a champion, and a former champion. He doesn't deserve a title shot. Woodley's washed up. I know it's only been 2 bad fights, but he is not there anymore.
No, Woodley, he's too busy rapping.
He's done, dude. He's not there in either fight. He's just standing there. And then he beat Maia. And that's the only real.
Nobody cared about Woodley when he was champion.
Nope.
Nobody cares now.
No.
You know? The welterweight division is so much more fun now.
Yeah. Now, I personally think if Kamaru wins, they should do him and Colby too.
Thank
Because
you.
that was such a good
I
fight.
don't know why Colby 2 isn't happening right now.
Because Masvidal technically is deserving.
No, I get that. I'm not saying that
Instead of Burns?
instead of Burns.
Yeah.
If it's a money dispute, whatever. But why the fuck? Dude, that was such a good fight.
It was such a good
not
fight.
Deserve a rematch?
It was such a good fight that ended in like the last 15 seconds of the fight. And
I think Mark Goddard should have let that fucking shit go.
Yeah, and that's another thing. People think that fight shouldn't have been stopped, dude. And
No, I don't.
people were thinking it was 2-2 going into the 5th.
That was one of those people.
I was one of those people too. I thought,
I think Colby lost the fight, but it should have been a decision loss.
yes, I completely agree. You can't let the dude who's like busted up and falls at the end
At
like,
the
win
5th
a
round.
war like that, you know?
In the 5th round. Come on.
But dude, we have to think like Kamaru got hit a lot in that fight, and Jorge
got pieced the fuck
and
up.
Jorge didn't get hit at all during Nate, so he's fresh.
Yeah.
He's fresh from 3 fights. He got knocked down in the first round versus Till.
Jab.
Didn't get hit again. Knocked him out. Then literally didn't fight Ben Askren.
Yeah.
Just didn't even fight him. So completely fresh
Little
there.
bruise on his knee.
And then beat up Nate with a doctor's stoppage and didn't get touched there. He's so fresh.
Thankfully, I do like that Jorge said, now, once again, I don't think it's the best thing for the division, but Jorge has stated that if you were to win, they're like, who do you want to take on next? And he was like, well, I've always said this, like, I think Nate's deserving of a rematch.
He was saying that, which isn't true.
It's
He's not deserving.
He's not deserving of a title shot. He's deserving of a rematch with Jorge.
Really?
Yes, dude. You remember that fight, man?
Yeah, Jorge beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, in the
worse than any.
In the first 2 rounds, but Nate was still there the whole time in
Yeah,
the third.
but he got beat bad.
So, he wasn't out.
That would be like me saying like Till deserves a rematch against Masvidal. He just doesn't.
No, that's completely different.
How?
Till was cold on the ground.
Yeah, but Till
was cold, out cold.
Till landed way more shots on Masvidal than Nate did.
But that doesn't matter.
He did better in the fight.
Okay, but Till was
They
not,
both ended from knockouts. A doctor stoppage is a TKO. It's the
okay,
same.
but you're gonna sit there and tell me that a doc saying that the cut's too bad is different from Till.
I do. I think Nate got beat up way worse than Till did.
Oh, dude, he was not out of that. That fight is unfinished. That fight is unfinished.
It's unfinished on like a weird street principle, but Masvidal's going to do the same thing.
I think Masvidal, he could possibly beat him up, do the same thing.
I'll take that back. He's going to beat him up a lot worse and really knock him out.
No, I don't think he knocks him out.
Dude, Nate's not good.
I think he beats him up.
Look at his last 10 fights.
Once again, though, okay.
His biggest win's Conor ever, which he got a slick submission in on him. Not even a slick submission. He just got it. Dude, his biggest win in the last 10 years besides Conor's Anthony Pettis, who's been washed up for 10 years.
Okay. Bring up the...
I'll bring it up. Okay. So, lost to Benson Henderson, lost to Johns Thompson, beat Gray Maynard, lost to RDA, beat Michael Johnson, beat McGregor, lost to McGregor, beat Pettis, lost to Masvidal. Not terrible.
I don't see your... Yeah, I'm still not,
Not...
Very spread out.
But not really.
Well, spread out time-wise, yeah. Remember, he didn't fight for fucking, 2 years?
So that's, a good thing for him? That's not an argument for him either.
I'm not saying it's an argument, but to say that he doesn't deserve another shot against Masvidal the way that fight ended is ridiculous.
I disagree. I think the fight ended fairly.
Nah.
I think that fight was bad, and he was getting beat up bad.
Disagree. Pull the fight up, Danny. We're watching it.
Yeah, we just got to watch that. I just disagree.
He was coming back.
I just disagree. I think, I just don't see it. I just don't see it at all. I think Conor and Nate would be a better fight.
Don't want to see that fight.
See, that we just have the same stance. I don't want to see a Jorge Nate fight. And I don't think Dana White wants to see it. That's why it didn't happen.
Wait, for what?
Jorge Nate fight. I don't think he wants to see a rematch of that.
Oh, Dana?
Yeah.
Well, no, he doesn't want his prize cow to get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see it. I think Jorge needs to fight Colby. That's the fight. That's the clear fight.
I think after that, Masvidal needs to retire.
Yeah, that would be legendary.
That would be legendary. From a logistics standpoint as well.
No, it would just be legendary. You come out, you're
How old is he?
He's 35.
Yeah, dude.
You're kind of on the same pathway as Nate, like a 500 fighter. And then you come out, you leave, come back, starch Till, starch Ben Askren, beat the fuck out of Nate. Then if you beat Usman, then beat Colby, and you started off in the backyard with Kimbo, and you won the BMF, and
you retire.
Yeah, and you win the title in the twilight of your career. That's straight Mike Bisping, just awesomeness.
That was my favorite. If Bisping would have retired after the GSP loss, I would have been so satisfied. I hate that he took that fight against Calvin.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I would have been happy if he retired after Luke.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
That would have been perfect.
I don't even think he needed to defend against
Hendo. Oh my God! I always forget he defended.
Yeah. He got knocked down hard on that one too.
He had 3 fights after he won the championship. I always forget Hendo.
I don't think you necessarily won that Hendo rematch. If you go back and watch it, he got beat the fuck up.
Yeah, I forget about that fight.
It was one of those tough fights to score.
He definitely didn't win the first Hendo fight. Hendo killed a guy.
Mike Bisping's just the fucking when it comes to just entertaining, but just you can tell he's a good dude.
Yeah, just deep down.
Yeah, you can obviously tell he jokes and he's one of the first dudes that would hit you up if you kind of knew each other and something happened. Kind of one of those guys.
Definitely.
Just seems like good dude.
Biz being a legend.
DC's the same way.
Did they announce who is going into the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
I remember they just announced somebody. I got it.
Uriah Faber was the last one I remember.
Yeah,
that was a while
I think
ago.
he was last year or a couple years ago. Hall of Fame.
Know.
It was somebody deserving, I think. Oh, it was GSP.
Yeah, they announced it.
Yeah, it's GSP. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, though.
Duh.
Anyway, so what do we have for final
and
predictions?
Kevin Randleman. Final predictions. I'm gonna say this one's really hard for me to be biased. I mean, not to be biased on, because I have like the what I want prediction and what I kind of feel what's gonna happen. My heart says Jorge is gonna somehow get like a tricky TKO in like the third, but like my brain and like the feet, my concrete feet tell me that Usman's gonna ground and pound unanimous decision win.
I don't know why, but something tells me that Usman is slightly shooken up.
I feel it a little bit too.
From the switch of opponent, the fact that it's Jorge, he knows that he doesn't have him on the feet.
Well, a lot of people say that Usman backstage, like, interacting with him is, like, weird. He's just, like, not a very, like, settled guy.
I
like,
think that he's in his head, to be honest with you. I think Jorge is living rent-free up there.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think he could pull something slick. Do you know what'd be
Something's
nuts?
telling me a second-round TKO.
Yeah, well, that's what Jorge said. He's like, I got a plan to get him out quick.
Yeah, something's telling me second round.
And I think Kamaru has it in his head that it's going to be a long fight. And I think that's going to play against him.
Something's telling me that Jorge's going to go in there, toy with him in the beginning, like running at him. Not touch him, but literally just making faces.
Yeah.
But also I think he's going to let Usman touch him.
Oh, definitely.
He's going to let him touch him and think going into the second round that this boy ain't got shit. I'm going to throw hands with him. And that's when Jorge's going to unleash hell.
Yeah, I think Jorge's
and just baptize him.
Catch him with something slick. Dude, be nuts. Because neither of them are really submission guys. Is if, like, Jorge threw up a submission and got him.
That'd be the coolest.
I would love to see Usman tap.
Dude, the fact that Tyron Woodley, when he submitted Till, that hurt so bad.
Oh, that hurt so bad. And the fact is, because it was like Darce, and the way the camera was, you could see Till's face, and he was literally just like, I literally can't do anything about this. I love Darren Till. Darren Till, please. Just be a guest.
He was supposed to win, man. Everything, momentum, everything was on his side for that fight.
He's the man. He's the man. I hope he beats Whitaker, because if he beats Whitaker, that means he's gonna fight Adesanya.
Yeah.
Or
I don't see him
Paulo.
winning against Izzy right now. I would have to see an impressive win off of Whitaker.
I think I see
knockout.
him beating Izzy before he beats Costa.
Yeah.
Actually, him and Costa are kind of built. They're both
I think him
big
and Costa
guys.
would just put on a good fucking fight.
Yeah, they're both big. Because Darren Till was big for welterweight, but he's also big for middleweight. Some people think he could fight light heavyweight.
Once again, I love Till, but just look at him facing off just stance-wise against fucking Paulo Costa. The thing that scares me is just, once again, Paulo Costa's up here, fucking head down, ready to go. And Darren Till, hands up, chin up wide.
That's so scary. But
that scares
But Till is a lot better at the clinch than Costa. So if Costa comes in, he thinks he's going to get inside. And if Till is able to get like an underhook or an overhook, that's going to be trouble for Costa.
Again, what scares me is those breaks from the clinch. Till scares the fuck out of me. But also, once again, if you want, every time he breaks, chin way up.
Yeah, but we also have to remember, he's been hit hard. That's another thing. It's like bias of seeing someone get knocked out bad. He got knocked out bad by,
mind you, I don't think Darren Till still mentally has fully recovered.
I can agree.
Because that last fight with Calvin, he beat him, he won, but it was not a dogfight. It was not.
But isn't that his benefit? Because he performed way better against Calvin than Adesanya did.
I think it's his benefit, but I still think in that fight, he still didn't get cracked by any mean and felt like, okay, I still got
Definitely,
it. You know
but
what I mean?
from what I took away is, he could beat Adesanya when he beat Calvin that way. Like, I agree. His chin was not tested, and that check isn't there, but the check of, can this guy beat Adesanya, is there, because he beat Calvin.
My fear is that Darren Till gets in there with one of these guys, even Whitaker, and gets cracked in the first round, and then has that realization during that fight, and not Kelvin.
See, for me, that's the guy I don't think has recovered mentally at all is Robert Whittaker. I think he in his I just the way he talks, because he said something along the lines like, "Oh, I'm gonna go in there and absolutely kill Darren
Robert
Till."
Whittaker's had so much personal shit going on, like.
But no, my point is just like Robert
chill
Robert Whittaker isn't a guy to talk shit, and he's not even the type of guy to say like, yeah, I'm gonna go smash my opponent. And he is saying about Till in this weird serious way now, because I watched an interview.
Something tells me that Robert Whittaker is gonna lose like his next 2 fights, take time off, and then have a resurgence because he's still so young.
Yeah, he's like what, 28?
Yeah, he's like 28, 29.
He's the same age as Max.
I could see him coming back at like 32.
That's how I feel about Max too. He's so young.
Yeah, he's so young.
We can have like 10 more years of Max.
Max, to me, already has CTE, like is showing early signs.
I guess, but I think Daniel Cormier says he's like always talked and been like that.
Yeah, but it just scares me when you have somebody.
Same thing with Stipe. They say he's always just kind of been like that. And Justin Gaethje.
But it scares me when you have somebody that young who's already been in that many wars.
Like, what do you think about Justin Gaethje? Like, that guy obviously has CTE.
No, it's sad. Yeah, like, I don't think any of these, like, the dudes are getting the head. Like, I don't think Justin Gaethje is living past 60.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bad.
Which is sad.
He's bad.
But I don't. Like,
I think he is the most punch-drunk person in the UFC.
Was. Not anymore, like, if you watch his fighting style. Like, he's much more conservative in the exchanges he goes
I just
in.
mean punch-drunk. Like, he's punch-drunk. Like, he's forever just like, I'm...
Yeah.
Like, his brain is the worst out of anybody in the UFCs.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody who's just, like, not
Diego
there.
Sanchez.
That's entirely different.
I got you on that one, though. Come on.
Justin, yeah, you definitely did. Justin Gaethje is like, he got beat up and his brain's bad because of that. Diego Sanchez was born an absolute serial killer. Like, that's in his genes. Like, I think, he reminds me of like the Night Stalker.
But it definitely scares me with those guys. Like, I think Max needs to be out before 35.
I think he wants to be.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Same thing with Justin.
Yeah.
All those guys, though, that have been, like, just really
Who's been knocked out bad? Like, absolutely KO'd.
But also, you got to remember, it's not about the knockouts as well.
Who?
Wonder Boy got
He got knocked out bad, but that was the only time in his whole life he's ever been knocked out.
If you actually look up studies, like, a clean knockout is still better for you
than
getting knocked down and then going back up.
Yeah, that's why there's so many deaths in boxing, because you have 10 seconds to get up.
Yeah, because you're already concussed and you keep getting hit. At least in the UFC, usually when a guy's concussed, that means he's knocked out.
Yeah,
or
but,
he's done.
But like in boxing, like even when Dan Henderson knocked out Bisping, their rules, he would still have 10 seconds, even though he was.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he was able to do it, they could do it.
Unless the ref immediately stepped in, he still has 10 seconds.
Yeah, but like a lot of times in boxing, the ref doesn't step in.
If somebody's knocked out cold.
I've seen it, bro. I've seen one time Floyd Mayweather knocked a dude out.
Who?
He completely his
Victor Ortiz?
Huh?
Who? Victor Ortiz?
Which one was the dude that he like smacked him in between
Sucker
rounds?
punch? That's Victor Ortiz.
Is it? Wasn't him then.
That was Victor Ortiz that he sucker punched. Credit to Floyd Mayweather. Victor Ortiz's ass headbutted him right beforehand, and then keep your fucking hands up, kid.
But point being, you get smashed in boxing. Like you have a better chance of getting your fight stopped in MMA.
Yeah, 100%. At least like when the knockdown happens, the dude's gonna run on top of you 9 times out of 10. You know, ref's gonna call it once you get hammered a little more. But
yeah, I can't really like Justin Gaethje gets beat up. Poirier gets beat up every fight.
Poirier's another one I'm worried about.
Yeah, he's a little punch drunky too.
A little bit.
Do you know who's obvious punch drunk? And he didn't even fight that long. Is Brendan Schaub, dude? He can't put thoughts together.
Brendan Schaub is the biggest fucking idiot in MMA, in comedy. Comedy again.
You're right. I literally don't know if I've ever seen him pick a fight correctly.
Dude, he's a fucking idiot. Like, he says a couple of like, oh, wow, like, I agree with that. Every once in a while. But, dude, just watch his stand-up specials and then tell me you don't hate that guy.
It's bad.
Have you seen the shit where he's, like, doing the Asian impersonation of the UFC doctor?
No.
And the dude, in his special, he does this bit about, he's like, so we have this Asian doctor. He's like, oh, Mr. Schaub. oh, da 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 da, and then some dude cut it together on YouTube to the guy, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Gary Yamamoto. I'm the head doctor for the UFC." It's hilarious, and you're like, "Oh my god, really? It's ridiculous, dude." I fucking hate Brendan Schaub.
Yeah,
and the
he's a
fact that
dork.
like Theo Vaughn's friends with him and Brian Callen.
I know that
'Cause
bugs me.
They're
I love
Brian,
him.
both
Especially
Brian Callen
Theo.
and Theo are awesome.
Theo's amazing.
Theo's
Where we
the
at
best.
time wise, Danny? Yeah,
Okay, so let's final prediction.
I'm gonna say I'm putting the good energy out there. Jorge Masvidal TKO 3rd round.
I'm doing the same thing, round 2.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put the good energy
Yeah,
out
right.
there.
Fuck Kamaru.
Kamaru is a savage, but dude, I hate you, turtle boy. He just looks
Fuck
like a
you,
turtle
Marty.
to me. Marty.
Fuck
yeah,
you,
he goes. I don't wanna be-
30% ass Marty.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Okay, so we do have to, before we conclude this episode, we need to talk about one big update in the conspiracy theory world, which
Oh,
is
my goodness.
Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested, the alleged girlfriend and co-conspirator to Jeffrey Epstein.
I heard that she's already tested
I've heard
positive
that as
for
well.
COVID in jail.
Dude, a lot of the information's so skewed, though. I've heard that that's been debunked as well.
Really?
I've heard that, that debunk's not true. It is true.
Right? Like, what happens if she
It's
didn't
everywhere.
even get arrested?
They've moved her into a jail in Brooklyn, in New York City. So she's still in federal custody. She was in New Hampshire jail. Now she's in Brooklyn.
Because they arrested her in New Hampshire, right?
Yep. She's on the no-flight list, so she can't leave the country. And she's going to, from what I've heard 2 things from 2 main news sources. This is why it's all bullshit. You can't get anything right. So I've heard from one that she will not be going to court within, I think it was like 1 or 2 days. They're doing it remote from the jail, and that's where she's going to talk about bail and what's going to be coming up. And then I heard from a different news source that she'll be in court this week. So
I have
it's
a
all been
question. So, say she reveals all these names.
Okay.
Then what? Like, what would happen then?
Then you would bring, I guess
Subpoena all these famous people?
so. But then you need eyewitnesses. You need you need the.
That's what I'm saying. Some of these people, even if their like
Need
name
all the
gets out, are gonna
testimonies from
walk.
the girls.
Yeah, there has to be so much. There has to be so much to happen to convict these people.
Yeah, for a conviction.
She's probably gonna go
But
to jail.
she's probably. But if she admits to being like the, co-conspirator and ringleader, doesn't that like give some weight to those accusations?
Oh no, her
You know?
being in custody is huge, and she definitely carries a lot of weight, and then her words carry a lot of weight. I'm just saying, like,
She was obviously going to give up
some
names.
of these people are going to be able to wiggle
Yeah.
away.
I mean, she's obviously going to give up names for reduced jail time, obviously. But also, I've heard 2 things: that she is ready to name names, and that she is ready to pin everything on Epstein and not
Right.
name any names.
Right, and just say Jeffrey was like a
Yep.
freak.
Exactly, and just say he made me do
I was
everything.
watching Unsolved. They rebooted Unsolved Mysteries. Did you guys watch that from like
No,
the 90s?
so I haven't started it on Netflix.
Well, they I did it again. Where I went on a ramble and forgot Jeffrey Epstein. Man.
Well, side note, a reporter was over in the UK, and to talk about the Ghislaine Maxwell thing, it was specifically told, do not ask about Prince Andrew. It's a legally hot topic right now. And supposedly the laws in the UK are much different from ours when it comes to, like, when it comes to protecting, like, the royals and shit.
Okay, well, those laws don't apply here, so that doesn't matter.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that Prince Andrew is a
oh,
pedophile.
he's the one that
totally banged that
everyone's. It's like,
17-year-old.
well, he's one of them where it's like kind of like Roman Polanski, where like that's
Yeah.
that's a fact that they've done that.
Dude, did you see the CEO or like the ex-CEO? I don't know. It was some lady. She either is or was. Came out and said like, "Oh yeah, we all knew Ghislaine was messing around with. She was at one of my parties. We all knew that she was messing around with underage people, but like,
blatantly said, "Oh yeah, we all knew."
yeah." And then everybody's like, "What the? You're the CEO of Reddit. Like that's a perfect place to be putting that shit up."
I just think people like don't care if it doesn't involve their life, you know.
I think that it's so easy. Like it's so hypocritical for me to say because like obviously I just want to scream at that lady at Reddit.
Right.
And then, like, I put myself as let me think here. I'm the CEO of a huge, company, if I put this thing on my website, I could possibly be murdered.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. There's like conspiracy theories of people being murdered for revealing information like this.
Isn't it obvious that they have?
Dude, low-key, we're such like, we do this in my small apartment. And there's times where I get like all paranoid. I'm like, man, we were talking about some things. I want to get
I lost
murdered.
the password to the YouTube account for a hot minute. And for legitimately, I was like,
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you.
They've locked me out.
We're like literally kids just like jabbering. Like
Yeah.
we don't really have information.
But so, I don't think it'll be within a week when we hear any more updates about the prosecution, trial dates, and all that. Mm-hmm. And then that's pretty much it for that. I haven't heard anything new about Ellen or Tom.
Me neither,
Those motherfuckers
man.
on house arrest.
Those are like the two that I feel like are gonna squirm away.
I know. Oprah as well. Can't forget about
Oprah.
her canceling all of her shows.
Yeah, man.
Because of COVID.
Because of COVID. Yeah, all these celebrities in quarantine.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Fucking drinking adrenochrome. Did you see they put out on like Turkish and Danish mainstream news? They had a whole story about adrenochrome and the celebrities.
It's real, dude. I'm
They put it out like a week ago.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Fucking nuts.
Man.
But that's about it for good news that I've got.
Yeah, quarantine. Just nothing going on. They closed bars and restaurants down again.
Yeah, so have they? I don't even keep up with it anymore. I don't care.
They're
Like,
closed down again.
I've just sort of like settled into the way of living now, which
exactly. This is just kind of life for me at this point.
is wear the mask every time you fucking leave.
Yeah, wear the
You
mask.
don't leave, but only.
Yeah, when you leave, wear the mask. I'm not like an anti-mask wearer at all. Like I won't wear my mask, but I have noticed in the last week I get more anxious with it on.
I'm super anxious.
Like
with
I'm
it
definitely
on,
pulling at it more, and like I can't breathe as well as I used to be able in it. It's just like a complete mental thing.
For me, I don't care about the mask. If that's like the
Yeah, that's how I feel. If that's it,
normal life, that's normal life. Whatever.
yeah.
Like I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with the restrictions of like everybody staying home
No, that's slippery. That's real slippery.
just for this extended period of time.
Yeah, because like when does it end? Because it's just say COVID's here to stay. Is this forever? Like, what happens if COVID,
Yeah,
you
like-
know,
If that's the case, like okay, then we need to
really figure out a different way of living.
how to keep all of like the fucking
Because there is an alternative rather than everyone just wear a mask. There has to be something. But in the meantime, I'll keep wearing the mask.
till the man tells me to do something different. I'll keep wearing the fucking mask.
Yeah, the man.
I'll wear the mask while I go to the gun store.
You got anything, Penguin?
Just going off that, did y'all see the Black Plague had some cases in fucking Asia somewhere?
Jesus Christ.
Totally did see
They
that.
eat now a bald eagle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting for a comet to hit the Earth at this point.
Yeah. One thing I did. Oh, God.
Just brought me. Have either of you seen or heard the movie of Melancholia? Lars von Trier made it a while back. He's the dude who made like Antichrist and like Nymphomaniac and all that crazy shit. So it's literally a movie about a planet colliding with Earth, and like the planet's called Melancholia. And I think it's like Kristen Durst, I think, is the lead. And I don't remember, but I recently watched it, and dude, that's just trippy. It's literally just what's happening on Earth as this thing's coming.
Danny, I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing. That's actually a knockoff movie from an original. It's called Armageddon. So that's a classic. One of the greatest.
Dude, you don't have to tell me about Armageddon. That was my shit.
Bitch.
Mom, if you're listening to this, you know I was watching this shit all the time. I love Armageddon.
Don't want to close my eyes. Dude, fucking Ben Affleck at the end of that one. You can't do this, Harry. Harry.
Ben Affleck.
Dude, I don't ever want to be put in a situation where I gotta fucking draw straws.
No,
For my life.
that's like the last
some
step of
intense
like,
shit.
That's why you always join a group where you have that one crazy friend that will always volunteer. You
Yep.
always got to find one of them.
It's usually always one.
Yeah, there's normally one.
Yo, I wanted to ask one more thing before we wrap up. Since it was 4th of July, do you guys fuck with fireworks when you were growing up?
Yeah, I mess with them.
Are they legal where you
They
guys live?
weren't legal when I was growing up. I think they are now, but I mess with them. Not nowadays, really, but I did.
Danny, Texas, how is it?
Oh yeah, we fucking the whole neighborhood would fucking pitch in.
Are they legal in Texas?
They're not legal in like cities, but like
So it goes city to city, kind of?
yeah, it's like it goes county to county basically.
Oh, okay.
But-
Now I know what you mean, not in like populated
yeah,
cities.
if it's like downtown Dallas, it's not legal, but
Gotcha.
I mean just about everywhere else. But yeah, I fuck with fireworks big time. Not really these days, just because why would I want to set it off in our apartment? But,
Yeah,
like,
obviously. Dude, when growing up, when we got our driver's license, my buddy and I would drive like each 4th of July, like the day before, a couple days before, we'd take a road trip to Pennsylvania where they were legal, and we go like the Phantom fireworks, like fucking brand house. And like we would just like save up money and just put it in a pot, and we drop like $1,500 on fireworks.
Wow.
Dude, they're
that-
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to pay for the big shit. You got to plan for it.
Wow.
But that's the thing. You pay like $500 for one of the big ass assortment box, and usually it's like buy one of these or buy two of these, get one free of the full box and shit. So you end up spending $1,500, but you get like $3,000 worth of shit.
Right.
So that was always so much fucking fun. But now living in a city like this, it's awful.
Yeah. They just kind of lost their luster for me.
Yeah,
Since it's in a city, like none of them are worth viewing.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like I love patriotism, but I like it when it's organized.
Yeah, like you're
if
on a
this-
boat at a fireworks.
Yeah, right. If the city of Los Angeles would be like, no fireworks, we're gonna do like one show. You go outside, look this way. It's at the top of.
That would be amazing.
It's at the top of the observatory.
Like South Padre Island in Texas fucking does that. It's like
Yeah,
they
right.
have like a schedule of fireworks shows.
I
And,
just
like,
I
just
don't think
wish
they did it
did
because
that
they didn't
here.
want people gathering. But it's like now you got even more groups gathering like in little things to fire off their own shit.
Yeah.
Although granted, I'm pretty sure they'd do it regardless. Although I don't remember it ever being this bad last year.
Dude, I woke up the next morning and it was like was like smoke just
Yeah.
everywhere this year.
Last year it was all very
Confined.
confined. Yeah, it was like there was a shit ton, but it was like just that night.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah, it just went all through the day. It seemed like at night,
Yeah.
especially all late at night.
Good old what's his name? Uncle Sam?
The tax man.
Yeah, the tax man. Well, boys, I'm hungry. You got anything
Yeah.
else?
I think that's about it. So what we're gonna do, boys, is we're not. Jake has to go back to Michigan for a little while. What
Yeah.
was jury duty? He's gonna hang out with the fam, and then so we're gonna be recording our reactions separately. And we're gonna put those up on our Instagram. So make sure you follow that. BJ Factory Baby. Follow me at Sharper's Florist. Follow Jake at what's your handle?
I think it's just like Jake Betcher 18 or something like that.
Follow the Penguin Lad
Probably
at
not
Danny
even
is a
that.
drug, right? Yeah, Danny is a drug on Insta.
And send him some
Send him some
cans
Venmos.
of tuna because he's getting hungry.
Tuna and fan art.
Let's just send a Venmo. Damn, we can't.
All right, later.
See you, boys.